Okay, number 21 is testing you from way back in investigation 1, some logic ideas here. Let me just remind you of some things that we talked about last year and also way back. Okay, so the first thing is the conditional statement, okay? The conditional statement is if P, then Q, all right? And then to write a converse from a conditional statement, we have if Q, then P. Notice we're switching up the Q and the P. Well, then you can have the inverse. You can write the inverse of a statement. And the inverse of a statement is not, if not P, then not Q. Notice that's just the negation of the original conditional. And then we have the contrapositive. All right. The contrapositive is when you've got if not Q, then not P. All right. So before we go any further, though, I need to remind you that of something that you may have forgotten. These two have the same truth value, and these two have the same truth value. What that means is that if the conditional is true, the contrapositive is automatically going to be true. If the converse is true, the inverse is automatically going to be true. But the other relationships are not necessarily certain. Okay, so it's asking us, if it starts raining, the car will get wet. Is the converse of the statement true? Well, this is the P statement and this is the Q statement. So is the converse of the statement true? Well, not necessarily. We're going to have to find out. So let's write the converse. That means we have to say if Q, then P. So if the car is wet, obviously we're going to assume that this is happening outside, okay? If the car is wet, it's raining. Now I know I don't have my then word there, but it's implied. Then it's raining, okay? Is that true? No. It might be, well, my grammar here is kind of bad. Let's do this. Maybe it's being washed, okay? If it's being washed, then it could be wet and not necessarily raining. My car could use a wash right now. Whew, could it ever? Okay, so let's go to B. Is the contrapositive true? Well, I've just told you a minute ago that if the conditional is true, the contrapositive is true. So if it starts raining, the car will get wet. Is the conditional true? Absolutely, okay? Obviously, again, assuming that the car is parked outside. So if the conditional is true, the contrapositive is true. Yes, it's true. But we need to give an explanation. So let's write the contrapositive, okay? Contrapositive means we negate the Q, all right? So let's negate the Q. So if the car is, well, what's the opposite of wet, okay? If the car is dry, right now, again, I know it could be in the garage, but we're assuming that the car is outside for this discussion. If the car is dry, then it's not raining, okay? So that, I hope that you followed all of that logic.